It starts with something as simple as drinking a glass of water. You take a sip, feeling refreshed, but what you don't realize is that with each gulp, you might be swallowing tiny fragments of plastic. These invisible invaders are called microplastics, and they've quietly made their way into every corner of our environment, including inside the human body. At first, microplastics were mainly a concern for polluted oceans, where plastic debris would break down into smaller pieces over time. Scientists found them in fish, seabirds, and marine mammals. But now, they're everywhere, floating in the air, settling in the soil, contaminating food, and even circulating in human blood. What was once thought to be a distant pollution problem is now a direct threat to our health. Microplastics are plastic particles less than 5 millimeters in size. They originate from a variety of sources. One of the biggest contributors is the breakdown of larger plastic waste. Over time, plastic bottles, bags, and containers degrade in the environment, breaking apart into tiny fragments that find their way into water, soil, and even the air. Another major source is synthetic fibers from clothing. Every time we wash clothes made from materials like polyester, nylon, or acrylic, they shed microplastics into wastewater, which eventually ends up in rivers and oceans. Microplastics were also once deliberately added to personal care products, such as exfoliating scrubs and toothpaste, in the form of tiny microbeads. While these have been banned in many countries, their presence in older products still contributes to pollution. Car tires are another surprising source. Every time we drive, the friction between the tires and the road wears them down, releasing microplastic particles that wash into waterways during rainstorms. With so many sources, it's no wonder microplastics have become nearly impossible to avoid. For years, researchers focused on detecting microplastics in oceans and marine life. Scientists found them in fish, shellfish, and even deep-sea creatures that live thousands of meters below the surface. Whales have been discovered with plastic fragments in their stomachs, and seabirds often mistake them for food, consuming them in large amounts. Even salt harvested from the sea has been found to contain traces of microplastics. But the most alarming discoveries came when scientists started looking for microplastics inside humans. Researchers detected them in drinking water, both bottled and tap, with bottled water often containing twice as much due to the plastic packaging. They found them in seafood, particularly in filter-feeding shellfish like mussels and oysters, which trap tiny plastic particles from the water. Even the air we breathe carries microplastics, which settle as dust and are unknowingly inhaled. Perhaps most unsettling is the discovery of microplastics in human organs. Studies have detected them in the blood, lungs, liver, kidneys, and placenta. The most shocking finding, however, is that microplastics have been found in the human brain. Scientists are still studying the long-term effects, but their presence raises serious concerns about potential neurological damage. Microplastics, tiny plastic particles less than 5 millimeters in size, have spread everywhere in the environment and, alarmingly, into our bodies. Scientists have found these particles in human organs, including the brain, raising serious concerns about their potential health effects. One of the biggest worries is how microplastics affect the brain. Studies show that these tiny particles can pass through the brain's protective barrier, which is supposed to keep harmful substances out. Once inside, they may cause irritation and stress in brain cells, potentially leading to memory problems and an increased risk of diseases like Alzheimer's. In fact, one study found that people with dementia had 3 to 5 times more microplastics in their brain tissue compared to those without the condition. While scientists are still researching this, the presence of microplastics in the brain is deeply concerning. Microplastics may also harm the heart and blood vessels. Some studies suggest that these particles might contribute to the hardening of arteries, which can lead to heart attacks or strokes. When microplastics enter the bloodstream, they may trigger inflammation and interfere with normal blood circulation. While researchers are still investigating how serious these effects might be, early findings suggest that microplastics could play a role in heart disease. Another major concern is their impact on hormones. Many plastics contain chemicals like BPA, which can mimic natural hormones in the body and cause imbalances. These hormone disruptions have been linked to problems with metabolism, growth, and fertility. Long-term exposure to these chemicals may also increase the risk of certain cancers and developmental issues, making this a serious health threat. Microplastics don't just affect specific organs, they can also harm the body at the cellular level. Studies show that when human cells come into contact with microplastics, they may struggle to function properly or even die prematurely. This damage can lead to chronic inflammation, which has been linked to autoimmune diseases and other serious health conditions. While researchers are still trying to understand how this happens in real-world conditions, the lab studies suggest that microplastics may be more dangerous than we previously thought. While completely avoiding microplastics is nearly impossible, there are ways to reduce exposure. One of the simplest methods is to drink filtered water. High-quality water filters can help remove microplastics from tap water, and boiling it before filtering can further reduce contamination. Switching to natural materials in everyday life also makes a difference. Choosing clothing made from cotton, wool, or hemp instead of synthetic fabrics can reduce the amount of plastic fibers shed into the environment. Washing synthetic clothes less frequently and using a microfiber catching filter in washing machines can also help limit their spread. Another key step is avoiding heating food in plastic containers. When plastic is heated, it can release microplastics and harmful chemicals into food. Using glass or stainless steel containers for storing and heating meals is a safer alternative. Choosing natural fiber clothing can also help, as synthetic fabrics release microplastics when washed. A microfiber filter for the washing machine can trap these particles before they enter the water system. Even small habits like chewing gum can contribute to microplastic exposure. Some chewing gums contain plastic-based ingredients that release microplastics while being chewed. Switching to natural gum alternatives or reducing gum consumption can help. Additionally, keeping a clean home by vacuuming and mopping regularly can reduce microplastics in household dust, preventing them from being inhaled or swallowed. For those who frequently eat seafood, it may be worth reducing consumption of certain marine animals, especially shellfish, which are more likely to contain microplastics. While completely avoiding seafood is not necessary, being mindful of its sources and choosing fish from cleaner waters may help lower intake. Microplastics were once thought to be a problem of polluted oceans, but today they are in our water, air, and even inside our bodies. Their presence serves as a stark reminder of how deeply plastic pollution has infiltrated our world. While eliminating them entirely may not be possible, being aware of their sources and making small changes in daily habits can help reduce exposure. This is no longer just an environmental issue, it's a personal health concern. The choices we make today, from what we drink to how we store food, can help limit the amount of plastic we unknowingly consume. The fight against microplastics isn't just about protecting nature, it's about safeguarding our own well-being.